Bonjour, mon ami. Do you want to become fluent in French, but you have nobody to practice your conversation in French with? My name is Llyane Stanfield, and you are watching French Minute with Llyane, where I give you a sneak peek inside of my signature program, J'Ouellette Intensif, which helps you reach an advanced level of conversation. Today is day number 8 of 24, and these videos have expired from Facebook. So if you'd like to have unlimited access to the video replays so that you can play and replay as many times as you wish, as well as the spelling of the expressions that I introduce, then please click on the link in the description of this video. And while you're there, maybe even check out the intensive program, which is available right now for registrations. So today I'm going to give you a sample from lesson 21, level A, and I'm going to remind you what this level A stands for. Alliance Française has the same splits the same way the learning of a language, or the levels of the French language, A, B, and C. A being the beginner level, split in A1 and A2. B is the intermediate level, split in B1 and B2. And C is the advanced level, split in C1 and C2. The J'Ouellette Intensif program helps you reach level C1, the low level C1, meaning you will be able to make conversation at advanced level, being introduced to the subjunctif, le mode subjunctif, and other tenses and phrase structures that are considered advanced. If, of course, you finish the intensive program and you would like to go further into mastering the French language, you can always go for my advanced programs, which are always available for those who finish the intensive program. So I just I just gave you the expressions that I'm going to talk about today in the comments. So under the video, you will see it there. So I'm going to read, then translate, and then explain what it is to explain from this little bit. Just so that you know, this is just a very small example from lesson 21. The lesson 21 is much bigger than this. This is not the only thing that we are introducing then. But the way it works is that you, through repetition and exercises with me, you will be able to use these particular structure in conversation pretty organically. And what I'm talking really about is the agreement of the noun with the adjectives, and the adjectives with the nouns. If you don't know what a noun is, if you don't know what an adjective is, it's perfectly fine. Don't feel inhibited by it. I can always explain at your particular level. My goal is not to introduce you or to, I'm not demanding a certain level of knowledge of grammar in general, and I can explain at any level that you have, so that you can still learn and use these expressions. So I'm going to read first. Quand je me lave, mon cou est mouillé, ma tête est mouillée, mes mains sont mouillées. Quand je m'essuie, mon cou est sec, ma tête est sèche, mes mains sont sèches. So I'm going to translate. When I wash myself, my neck is wet, my head is wet, my hands are wet. When I wipe myself, my neck is dry, my head is dry, my hands are dry. Really, what we introduce here are not the words. I would like to re-emphasize the fact that Whenever you need words, please look them up in the dictionary. Whenever you need the verb conjugation, please look up in the verb conjugator book or website. So do not feel inhibited by the fact that you don't have vocabulary, which is the main reason why most Anglophones either don't even start learning French and then they regret it, or they drop it somewhere where they feel that they don't have enough vocabulary. Vocabulary is learned through repetition. Vocabulary is always learned through looking up the words. And if you know well enough the phrase construction, you can easily explain the words that don't come to you with simpler words, with simpler vocabulary. So please don't allow the vocabulary to stop you from pursuing learning French or speaking it. So what are we talking about here? If you look at the word mouiller, words, the three words mouiller, they have different forms. The first one ends in a E with an accent. The second one has another E without an accent after the first E that it has an accent. And the third one has an E and an S after the final E with an accent. So I'm going to explain this here. What we're talking about here is the agreement of the adjective. An adjective is a word that qualifies another word. So for instance, when I say a big head, big qualifies, shows some qualities about the head. It's a big head. What kind of head is big? The big ball. What kind of ball is the big or the black or the round? That is an adjective. And the noun is a word that expresses things, ideas, objects, and so on, persons. Now, the adjective, because we have genders in French, the nouns have genders. All nouns have genders. So, and the adjectives will also have gender. So I will have to have the same gender for the noun, for the adjectives as the noun has. So, mon cou is masculine, le cou. So mouiller will be masculine. Ma tête is feminine. So mouiller will also have to be feminine. And the way that I'm showing that mouiller, the second one, is feminine is by adding another E. So that is the way we're marking feminine in general. And the third word, mouiller, has also an S at the end. So the agreement is in gender as well as in how many. Is it singular? Is it plural? So it is going to have an S, and that's going to mark the plural. So my hands are, hand is feminine, so it's also going to have an E for feminine and an S for plural. So as you can tell, people who have a problem with genders, now I'm going a little bit up on the level, so I talked right now to the absolute zero beginner. So right now I'm going to talk to someone who has an idea and has already trouble with genders. So as you can tell, the genders are important for the writing. So they sound, all these three words, mouiller, they sound exactly the same way. But if I were to write them, I would have to add that E or the E and the S in case it's feminine or feminine and plural, or just plural. So that's how important the genders are, because it changes not only what we put in front of the word, which would be mon for masculine and ma for feminine in this case. You see, mon cou is masculine, ma tête is feminine, so mon and ma change because of the gender of these nouns, and plural as well, mais. Now let's talk about the second line. So brush it off. I mean, if any of this was overwhelming, just forget about it, okay? I'm gonna repeat. So by me repeating, and when you register for the intensive program, by the way, you hire me to repeat like 1,000 times. I never get bored. I'll never say, oh, I said that before. because that's my job. My job is to repeat, to offer to you the sound of the repetition so that your brain catches the pattern and learns faster. So the second example, quand je m'essuie, mon cou est sec. So sec means dry, masculine in this case. Cou is neck, is masculine. Now notice how la tête, which is feminine, takes the gender of the feminine for sec is sèche. So notice how important the gender is again, because this particular adjective has a completely different form for feminine. Another one that you may probably know if you're a very beginner, again, I'm talking first for the very beginners and then for a little more intermediate. So another word that you may know better than sec sèche could be blanc, blanche, that's white, right? So le livre est blanc, the book is white. La table est blanche, the table is white. But if I don't know the gender of the noun, then I will not know to use the proper adjective with the proper form. So if I say la table est blanc, would not make sense to the natives. Of course, if they know that you don't know it well enough and you're practicing or learning, they will be more attentive to see what you may need to say. But when you are going to Paris, for instance, and I know I'm telling you this because I had problems when I came to Canada in the street or in the bus, talking to the bus driver or people asking for directions, they get confused. I mean, so because they don't expect these mistakes to happen, they won't understand you, and oftentimes you're just losing the conversation right there and then. And what would happen to you if you're in Paris and they notice that you're foreigner, then they'll switch to English and you're gonna get upset because you can't practice your French. So this is how important the genders are and how important to learn the genders is. And I'm going to give you another tip for this minute. It's going to be a longer tip because genders is such a huge issue for most. The way to learn the genders is to consider the gender as part of the word. So I always give an example, a typical is le livre, la livre. They are both written the same way, L-I-V-R-E. They both end in E, so there's no rule there whether, it's ending in E and it must be feminine, nothing there. So le livre means the book, la livre means the pound. So the way to learn the words with their meaning is to always and always consider that le and la, the gender, is part of the word. Never learn a word, for instance, livre. Well, you now know not to learn this particular word this way, but let's say table. Never use to learn table or write it down. Table equals table, which you may not even write because it's written exactly the same way, right? But when you do la tête, for instance, another word, right? Don't write tête equals head. Write la tête equals the head. Consider that always French words, nouns, have two parts in them, that you cannot learn the word, the meaning of the word without actually knowing the gender. If you force yourself to learn the nouns, and if you didn't do it so far, start now. If you force yourself to learn all the nouns this way, then you'll never ever have a problem with the genders again. So it's a bigger conversation about genders. I actually posted in the group, in the conversation group, just posted a video talking about mastering the French genders. So if you are curious, go in the group and check it out. But for now, this is French Minute with Llyane for today. Thank you so much for the love, and If just remember that these videos expire in a couple of days. So if you would like to play and replay these videos, all 24 in fact, and have a sneak peek inside of the J'Ouellette Intensif, which is now available for registrations, please come on over to the website. The link is in the description of this video. Immerse yourself in Parisian French and finally reach your dream to become bilingual. I'm very happy that I have you here, and I'll see you tomorrow. Merci beaucoup et à demain. Au revoir.